Hi, this is Tom with another Blender tutorial. Like a lot of people, I find choosing colours for a scene or product difficult because some colours just don't mix well, and I don't really have an eye for that sort of thing. It turns out that there are some pretty well-known rules about colour combinations, and I recently found out about the Adobe colour website, which generates great colour palettes from a chosen colour. This is a really helpful website, so thanks to whoever made that happen. I decided to make my own simple version of this within Blender, in the form of a node group to aid me with my own project. I'll be showing you how to make 2 custom colour combination nodes inspired by Adobe's website. One will find 2 complementary colours that contrast well with the original colour, and the other will create 4 shade variants of an inputted colour, 2 lighter ones and 2 darker ones. Put them together and BAM! You've got around 12 complementary colours from one single input. In the description below there's a link to my GitHub where you can download the blend file containing both node groups, so you can directly append them into your own blend file. I'll show you how to do that at the end of the video. Okay, so we're in the default scene. All that's changed is that I've replaced the default cube with a plane. And we don't need to do any modelling, I'm just showing you how to make a texture. So we're going to go into the shading workspace, and I'm going to be in look dev mode, but you can be in cycles or EV, it doesn't really matter. So we're going to add in a texture, and I'm going to delete the principal BSDF. So the way this works is we are getting an inputted colour, so an input RGB colour. So let's say it's red. So set the hue to 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to invert the hue, so that would be 0.5, so we get the opposite colour or negative of that colour, and then we're going to offset that value by a certain amount, so say 0.1, so 0.1 for that one, and then we do it for both sides, so that one would be 0.4, and that's the algorithm done. So now we know how that works, we're going to delete these. Now we're going to add in a separate HSV node. We are just affecting the hue, so we can add in a combine HSV node, and we can connect up the hue and value. Note the saturation and the value, but we want to change the hue value. And what we want to do is we want to invert that, and we invert the colour by adding 0.5. So let's do that. And we can see that that works perfectly fine. However, if we go to here, you can see it doesn't work that well, because after 0.5 it just goes to red and purple, and which is not what we want. And the reason for this is that Blender's hue saturation value nodes only go between 0 and 1, and if you add 0.5 to 0.5 you get 1, and anything after that is 1, and it rounds it back down to 1. So that's why you're getting those artifacts. So to fix this, we're going to differentiate between values that are greater than 1 and less than 1. And the best node for that is the greater or less than node. I'm going to use the greater than node. It's just a duplicate of the math node, change the value. Set the value to 1, because we want to differentiate between 1 and greater than 1. And we're going to plug that into the vector of a mix RGB node. So what's that saying? It's saying if this value is greater than 1, use this value. If it's less than 1, use this value. And that's correct. And we want to use this value if it's not greater than 1. However, now we need to find a value for this, and that's pretty simple actually, because it works from 1 to 0, we can just subtract 1 and it will be working correctly. So if we can plug that into the second socket, and now we plug that back into there. And we change that to subtract 1. So now we have a perfectly working inversion node. See, it works perfectly fine. And just to give you another rundown, separate HSV, add 0.5 to the value, so it's inverted it, found a negative of it. If it's greater than 1, we want to subtract 1 to bring it back where it should be. And if it's less than 1, then it's fine, we can just keep on with that value. So that's the inversion working. And now we need to add some value, or take away some value, to offset the hue even more. And that's pretty simple, because we've just made a node group, node setup here, which does that for us. We just need to change this value. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate these, or this, and we're going to add in a value node, just to change this value. Plug the colour into that, plug the output colour to the hue. And we need to change this to something less than 0.5 because at the minute it's going add 0.5 and then it's adding another 0.5, so it's back to where it starts. So I'm going to change this to 0.1 just to give a slightly offset volume. And we can see that this is working because it's inverting, it's adding 0.5, which is about there. Now to get the other value on the other side of this, so it would be green colour, because this is adding, we need to do the exact same thing. We're going to flip these values from add to subtract, greater than to less than, subtract to add. I'm going to need to change some of the values as well. So select them, duplicate it, and we're going to add the hue. We're going to add that value the same way, and we're going to change that. We're going to use the same offset amount. So here we go. And remember, we need to change the subtract, add to subtract, subtract to add, and the greater than to less than. And the only thing we need to change is the less than. We need to be less than 0. And let's see what that outputs. Should be a nice green colour, and that's right. So we've got our two complementary colours there. We've got blue, we got green, we've got red. Now we need to combine them into a palette at a texture coordinate. We go to converter, separate X, Y, Z. We're going to use object coordinates, just because you can use anything if you like if you want. I'm using them. Going to add in a greater than node, set to 0.5, which is right, connected to the X. I'm going to add another one with the same value connected to Y. So we want half of our object to be red, and the other half to be a mix of the two other colours. So we're going to do that. The way we do that is we use another colour, XRGB. So this colour is the original colour, so we're going to plug that into there. So we've got a red, and the other side we want to be a mix of these two colours, which is why we've got this value. So we're going to duplicate the mix RGB, going to plug that into there, plug the factor into the greater than node, and these two want to go in here and here. And there we go, that's the palette done. So it's pretty simple. Maybe we want to tidy that up a bit, but it's good enough. And we can see that we've got a completely procedural color picker node, and it works with value, anything. So we've come to the end of the video. If you want the node groups without any work, just go to my GitHub and download the .blend file. Then in your Blender scene, go to File, Append, and navigate to your downloaded file. Then click Node Tree and select both nodes. Then press Append. Now you can easily add in either node group by pressing Shift A and navigating to the group and selecting which one you want. And with that, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss my next video, and thanks for watching.